You're listening to The Angry Designer, where we cut through the industry bull to help frustrated graphic designers survive and thrive.
Welcome. Sean, welcome to the future.
Wow.
2023.
It's so bright that I'm going to have to wear shades, right?
Oh,
you remember that song?
Wow, you're getting worse and worse with the dad jokes.
You're welcome for that earworm.
Wow. I think the kids don't even understand that yet. I couldn't use that one on them. But.
You could. Okay. Oh, boy.
I'd like to say that was the first drink of 2023, but I'd be lying. Yeah. And I don't want to start the year off with a lie.
This is true.
Yeah.
You're going to have to catch us at like 12:01 for that first drink.
Even earlier. No. I don't condone this.
That's
but
right.
It is fun.
That's right. It is.
Well, new year, new everything.
Yes, brand new.
Still scary as fucking hell. You know, you got your New Year's resolutions that, are more like joke. They're light. I don't know how people take them seriously.
What was yours? Did you have one?
God, no. I'm smart enough to know that the shit doesn't happen.
Yes.
You know what? Yeah. No. My New Year's resolution is to treat myself better this year. Better scotch, better bourbon, treat myself, do better things. No. Yes, it's hard to take a lot of that seriously, unfortunately, right?
When you get to a certain age,
you kind of know.
You kind of go. You know yourself well enough to know that. Because last year, you remember we did dry January.
Yes, we did. That's what I ate.
And it's like a hard. And it's like a hard no nowadays. No way. I'm not going to ever do that again.
Dude, the whole reason why I stopped doing New Year's resolutions is I stopped setting myself. I hate setting myself up for failure.
Yes,
it's just like what? I know it's not going to happen. It's the wrong reason to kind of do anything.
Yep,
right?
It's not right. Yeah, it's not good.
Again, there's other reasons to do things in the future, but it doesn't. Regardless, we're not here to talk about resolutions, but we are here to talk about the future being so fucking scary.
Yes.
Over the holidays, I did a lot more. I don't know why I've been so obsessed with this AI shit lately. Before the holidays, during and I'm trying stuff. This one is called ChatGTP.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
Or GPT. Anyway.
Yeah.
And if you haven't checked it out yet,
it's the text one, right?
It's text, right? And it's like they call it a chatbot, but it is not like what you'd think a chatbot is in the bottom corner of your computer screen. I'm talking this thing, you put in a question and it will give you a response and give you a blog. If you want a full blog, it'll give you a resume, a cover letter, whatever you want in such perfect grammar. Better than a person can do this. Okay. And this is why it's kind of scary. Because again, you play so much with this. It's before the holidays, I had a conversation with, our copywriter and again, she's brilliant. And again, to research an article and write an article, we're talking, minimum 4-6 hours. It's a good quality article,
yep.
And in all fairness, sometimes it can be hard for customers to pay the value of something like that. Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Showed her this platform. Okay. And I was like, look, I got to show you this. Right. And she's like, okay, whatever. I heard about this. Right. I'd type in the most craziest random shit. Okay. And again, I was like, write me a children's poem about a ball and a tree.
Oh.
Totally fucking random.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
It gave me the cutest children's poem. It rhymed. Okay. It was like pulling at heartstrings.
Wow.
It was like, honestly, you read this, you're like, wait. AI just did this in 10 seconds. Okay, something like that could take someone days to write.
Wow.
Blog topics. Okay, I would do. We were showing. I was on the phone with her or on chat, and we were doing this for like over an hour, just coming up with topics. Okay, blog topics. The effect of IoT in the food supply chain. Right.
Yep.
Totally. IoT food supply chain. Okay,
Yeah.
you could research that, this, that. Within 10 seconds,
It had something.
It had a whole blog article saying the pros, the cons, and it was better written than most of the shit that I see on the internet. Because most of the stuff on the internet is not really well written. You can tell it's by these little copy farms that are just cranking out shit over and over and over, right?
Yeah.
And needless to say, like after doing that, and we're like, oh, you don't like this version? You hit refresh. It does a completely different version. Again, 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
This shit was so again, you know, as designers, we're talking about DALL-E, but
Yeah.
I mean, as a copywriter showing her this, she's like,
Wow.
what do you do?
Yeah.
Right. And then I hear all these use cases that people are using it for, you know, interview letters to kind of get a job interview. They're using it for copy. You know, kids are using it for schoolwork now. And again, it does all the thought, all the points, everything to you. It can't search the web. Okay, but it's had so many data sets put in there.
How come it can't search the web?
I guess it's just the way they're doing this. It can't search the web, and I think because the web you can't verify if things are real or not. Where since it's AI, they put in all the data in there, right? All the data, so everything. So I mean, it could be biased. It's biased based on the data they put in there. But I mean, I would even do random touchy topics.
Yeah.
You know, like and again, I'm totally for this, but I really scary topic, right? Is gay marriage okay? Right. And I went there. I was
wow.
like, let's see what AI would do.
Yeah.
And the response that it gave was like, you know, morally and ethically, there's nothing wrong with it. And I was like, okay, good. It's got a conscience. Then it started going, you know, however, there are some, you know, far right religious groups and some far right, you know, government, you know, groups and this and that feel this and this and that and that. And they would just, and it was just like, it was a brilliant topic because it was very liberal.
Yeah. But it was also both sides of the coin.
Exactly.
Yes.
So it was completely, you know, like it said it almost as though it gave you its opinion.
Yeah.
Right? About, hey, you know what? Really, there's nothing wrong with it.
I think
And
this is
there
good.
isn't.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But
Right.
Some people think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it was written in such a way that you can't argue it. It was like, wow, that was brilliant. And I mean, that was a really touchy subject to even go there, right? And then again, I kept trying to, you know, trick it and this and that. No. Beautiful. So literally, she was like, you know what? I'm done. Like, plain and simple, I'm done. Because again, a lot of her work was, you know, blog writing and researching and this and that, right? And literally, this thing would put this stuff together 10 seconds or less. What would take somebody a full day's worth of work to get a first draft of. Okay, so scary. So this is why I'm saying I'm fascinated with this, because then again, I got this defeated response from someone who does this for a living, and then but then like 2 days later, and here's the little light at the end of the tunnel, right? I had a problem. Right. I was, you know, creating something, you know, internally for a customer. We had to visualize. It was kind of like an infographic. We had to visualize something, put it in an image, you know, and then it was just like we had to compare A to B and put some copy and text around it. But I just couldn't figure out how to wordsmith this to the point where it made sense, because there was all these weird variables and it required creativity. Right. Pick up the phone again. Called the exact same person. We went through it. She came up with some more ideas on how to visualize it, and it's like, boom, that was your value add. It wasn't in your final product, which can be commoditized, right? Blog writing on a topic, that can be commoditized. Apparently, it can do that, right? It can do that really easy, you know, but because we needed to solve some sort of problem that had a lot more variables, had a lot more Q&A, we had to solve something visually, right?
You needed a human.
I needed a human to think through this and work through this with. And then again, the final product was bang on. Computer couldn't do that. So that was her value. Okay. So this was the crazy thing about going through this AI, right? It's like, it's more important than just the final product in some cases, and this final commoditized product, which I think I've been throwing that word around a lot lately, you know, it was more the value that she put into her problem solving skills of copy. Right. So that's the difference. And honestly, and I mean, it made a difference for her, right? Because she was able to see the bigger picture of what we were trying to build.
And did she feel threatened by her job after doing that?
Exactly. I was like, you know what? This is your future. Future isn't doing blog copy, writing, you know, intro paragraphs for this or technical writing for that.
Hours and hours of research. There's a database to draw from. All you have to do is have the brain power, the brain bucks, if you will, to pull the information you need out of it.
To be able to curate.
Exactly.
Curate the right
word for...
And it's true, right? It's true. because again, she was able to understand the bigger vision of what we were trying to do.
Right.
So sure, if she wanted to, she could go back to this and here, like, give me 2 sentences on this. Give me 1 sentence to better say this. And it could give her sure, if she wants to copy and paste it.
Yeah.
But she was able to see and understand the bigger picture of what we're trying to create and curate the content for that, right? So again, huge difference. And honestly, this is the same for graphic designers.
Yes.
And this is what we're here to talk about.
Oh.
What a future graphic designer looks like. What the future is for a graphic designer.
Right.
I don't even know the right way to say this, but I mean, this space is moving so damn fast, right? And everybody's like, concerned.
Yeah.
How does this affect? And so I thought this was a really kind of cool topic to kind of touch on. First topic of the year because we're in the future.
Oh, it's the future.
It's 2023.
What does a graphic designer look like in the future? Is it like Arnold Schwarzenegger? I need your clothes. Like the T2.
And he grabs a pair of black frame glasses, a toque.
And his laptop and starts creating. Yeah.
Jeez, that wouldn't be a very intimidating one.
It's probably not that futuristic. We're not robots, right? I mean, not yet.
Not yet. But I think that example of this whole idea of like our role, we're act as curators.
Yes. Yep.
I think is legit 100%.
That's awesome.
Because if all you're doing is pushing pixels and making things look pretty.
Yep.
Well, guess what? There's probably an app for that.
If not now, there will be this year.
Exactly, right? The future is limited.
Yes.
And if there's one thing that I've realized is AI, when it comes to these end deliverables, when somebody can pinpoint what that end deliverable is, it can do that pretty fucking well.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
The logo generators we're seeing at their shit.
Yes, they're not.
But now what I'm starting to think is they just don't have enough data sets in there.
That's probably what it is.
Okay, because it's machine learning is all about just feeding all this data in there, and then it's learning. So okay, it might only have the shitty AI that we've seen with logos so far, pretty limited.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, there might come a time where they've gone through like a million letter A's, a million letter B's, a million letter C's, and then different ways and forms to manipulate them, and then how they should all put together in the best ways, and then throw in design principles, and then throw in just all anything you want, right?
So
the Fibonacci,
right? That all kind of that whole thing.
So
with the like the DALL-Es and things like that, if you type in a certain artist like David Carson or something like that, it will imitate that style, right?
It will.
So if these logo things, would they be able to, like you say, give me a Massimo Vignelli kind of style logo? Will it
mid-century Massimo Vignelli,
that?
David Carson style? Absolutely.
It does.
And that shit already is happening. So because again, I went to Midjourney.
Yeah.
And I was really curious. And I just put down graphic design piece in the style of David Carson using, I forgot the letters I put in there.
Yeah.
It was pretty shitty.
Yeah. But it got the style.
He knew who he was. It got the style. He's not the only person who's doing this. Grandfather of the style. He owns the style.
Yeah.
But there are other people doing it. But again, it obviously found some of his work, referenced it, slapped that shit together. And I mean, again, rough, crude.
Yeah.
But still, like, wow.
It had the right, it was in the right ballpark.
The reality is I couldn't have put it together in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And granted, as crude as it was, I couldn't I couldn't even sketch it in 10
Sketch that
seconds.
fast, yeah.
Right?
Oh,
so I mean, it's there. So, and this is the whole idea. If all people are going to be doing is creating logos, and I'm a logo designer, and that's great. I appreciate the passion behind it. Or you see 99 designs, right? Like or Fiverr, right? It's just like, tell me about your company.
Yeah.
Tell me about what colors, what shape, what animal best represents your brand. Fuck, you know what? You're out of a job, and you deserve to be out of a job.
Done,
because again, it's so thin, and technology will replace that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because why couldn't it do that?
Exactly.
These are such basic,
rudimentary
exactly,
requests.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right?
that's
honestly, I think graphic design like that. To avoid being commoditized, right? And to deliver a simple service that can be replaced over and over and over again, right? We need to stop thinking like artists, stop thinking like a logo designer and start thinking like an actual designer.
Yes.
Okay. And this is the key. I think, the outcome, no matter what, no matter what the project is, the outcome of a designer is the same.
Yeah.
We are out to try to solve a problem. Exactly. Okay, that is what we're trying to do. Be it a graphic problem that we're trying to solve, a product positioning problem, right? A brand, a business problem, whatever it is, right? Yeah. Designers are trying to dig hard, find a problem and fix it for the customer. I remember so many times, we'll have customer be like, dude, we need a new website. Our website just isn't working. Right. And I was like, okay, well, tell me, this is what our competition site looks like. We want one better than that. Right. Because ours isn't converting leads and this and that and this, that. And I was like, okay, there's got to be more. Yeah. Why isn't it converting leads? Yes. Oh, because it's a shitty website. Really? Because I'm looking at your website. I have no idea what the fuck you do. Right. I have no idea what your value proposition is. The only reason I understand what your competitors are doing is because they're pretty clear.
They're clear what it is.
And so when you start digging into this problem, right, you realize the problem isn't the website. Mm-hmm. The problem is the entire brand, the messaging, right? There's so many other problems. Right. It's not in that deliverable.
Yes.
But if all I'm doing is focusing on a deliverable, taking an order from a customer and be like, you need a new website? Okay, I can give you a new website.
Here we go.
Guess what?
Yeah.
Okay, AI is going to take that shit over.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
That's
because,
right.
Again,
that's going to...
Grid AI already tried to do that.
Yeah.
And I think the only fault was that it was maybe too early and too primitive. Yeah. Okay, but I mean, again, could they be working on that same shit right now? They absolutely could be creating on the exact same thing. Yeah, the thing is, if we're just focusing on the end product, right, we will be replaced. Mm-hmm. And that's why as a designer, we need to focus on the bigger picture, right? And evolve the way, the rest of the space in the industry is kind of evolving, right? Yes. Yeah. If you think, your idea of being a graphic designer in the future is just creating logos at a faster pace, than you are, or, at a better level or using better technology, you're shortchanging yourself. Yep. You're shortchanging your career. Mm-hmm. Honestly, the potential. Yeah. Right? Because again, it is so much more. You will be replaced. Yes. Because for fact, there are already AI programs out there that are being designed to replace just that. Yes. And if that's your only bag of tricks, dude, then you could be the best logo designer in the world. Yeah. Sometime or another, somebody's going to be like, you know what? That Sean designer's good, but he wants to charge me $50,000. Yeah. Wait a second. Give me a logo in the same style as Sean.
Yep. There we go. Yeah, exactly.
And that shit will happen, right? Yep. So if technology can commoditize a service, it's proving that it will. I mean, they're already coming out with GPT is already coding and providing code.
Oh my God.
FYI. You can write it. You can ask it to write you a piece of code. What? It will generate it in 10 seconds and it's good quality. Right? JavaScript snippets, like a simple HTML page. You give it a coding problem, it'll give you a piece of code in the end.
Right.
So technology is trying to replace the people who are creating the fucking technology.
Didn't this happen at Google? Didn't they let go?
It did, actually recently.
The designers, the developers there were working on this platform.
They currently are.
And will eliminate their own jobs.
Kind of. And I mean, their whole idea with this was that, we want to be able to get releases out faster and just do a lot of the boilerplate stuff and blah, blah. And that's what they were saying.
Yes.
I had a programmer. I asked a friend of mine who's a programmer, and he was like, oh, dude, I see this shit all the time. It's no good. What, sure, it's going to replace me. Maybe it'll help speed up a snippet here, a snippet there, but no chance. Yeah. Well, then after hours, he went and snooped himself. Yeah. And he was like, God damn, I'm out of a job. The shit, it was coming up. It was clean code. It was good quality. It did exactly what he wanted. It's scary shit. Wow. And in some ways you wonder why. Okay. But the reality is if they can commoditize a service, they will. Yes. Okay. Yeah. And again, it's presentations. Okay. Like they're doing that right now. Layouts, websites, like all that final shit. Yeah. If they can commoditize it, they absolutely real. Like, I mean, again, it's just a matter. So this is where it's like, if your, end product is just logos. Yeah. Right. Or even worse, those thin ass logos with basic questions, or you're like, bottom feeder, just kind of doing, $100 logos or whatever, dude, you'll be gone. Yeah, and in some ways, I'm happy that's
gone. Kind of good.
In some ways,
needs to weed out the thin and the weak. You know what I mean? The herd needs a bit of thinning.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting stuff, man. Holy crap.
So go ahead.
Is it the same kind of idea with the copywriter with these developers? Are these guys going to have a say into how it like an analytical kind of human.
Yes.
Okay.
So I have a feeling that the code that it was asking to write, it wasn't asking it to write completely, come up with a brand new theory concept, right?
Right.
I don't think it can do that.
Okay.
But if you give it a specific task, write me a form handler that says this, says that,
Right.
and does this when you hit send, boom, it can do that.
Right.
Right.
So these guys will probably be able to curate their kind of this
I
arena.
think, in theory, if they can use this as a tool to get their shit done quick,
Right.
I think that then that's how they, I can't say for sure how programmers will take advantage of this. And from what I saw initially and some of the responses I saw online, what people were saying, and this is still at the beginning stage.
Yeah.
So it's just as detrimental to that career as it is to everybody's career, in my opinion, right?
Wow.
But I do think that there's hope for us as graphic designers. But the funny thing is that it's, in my opinion, okay, the future graphic designer doesn't sound much different than what we are right now.
Right.
Okay. So a graphic designer solves visual problems. Okay. So that's technically what we've always said. Graphic designer solves visual problems. Yeah, you can add fluff to it, this, that, but ultimately that's kind of where we're at. Okay. But by visual, I'm actually meaning brand, marketing, packaging, UX, UI, interaction, experiential, okay? Like we will work in digital spaces, we'll work in printed spaces, we'll work in printed and digital environments, okay? And I'm talking visually. So now I've taken that and just blown the fuck up. Okay. So when I say a graphic designer solves visual problems, I'm talking all that shit combined. Yeah. We're talking AR, we're talking VR, right? This is like, it's just going to blow up.
Right.
Okay. So this is what I mean. And that's the difference, right? Like right now, everybody's like, oh, no. Like they're just work on print. And we have these kind of people that do this and we have those kind of people. No. I'm saying graphic design is going to be all encompassing. A graphic designer will touch anything that people see and experience. Yeah. Okay. So that's what I mean by this, right? Kind of sounds like a generalist.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, very much
But I'd
so.
like to think of it more as a multidisciplinary designer. Okay.
I like that.
So it sounds a little cooler.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So now the funny thing is, I'm probably going to get smacked for this. Okay. Because we were, a little while. Sean Henry got his hand out to smack me. Wait, let me turn around, Sean.
Don't tempt me. Woo.
Okay. So we did a podcast episode a little while ago about, should I be a specialist or should I be a generalist?
Right.
Okay. So my stance about, as an agency owner, my stance was be a specialist agency, have a very, very, very thin focus, industry or space that you deal with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Because then you can find a lot of work within that space.
Yes.
But in skills, be a generalist. Right. And that's what I said. I said, just like Z Factor, we position ourselves as, we have a wide breadth of service and capabilities from trade shows to print to digital, to motion, all that we do.
Yep.
But we do it for a very, very thin space, a very thin audience. Right. So I still believe in that stance. But just to clarify, right?
Yeah.
I'm saying don't be a specialist as in one design discipline.
Right.
I'm saying that's where we need to be multidisciplinary.
Yeah.
There was a time when we started, like 20 years ago or whatever, right? Before all this craze, a graphic designer did everything for a company. Okay. Like literally we did their print.
Yep.
We did their digital back then. We did their experiential. They're like, hey, my showroom needs some cool stuff. We were able to make that happen. Yep. We took care of their outdoor advertising. We took care of poster design, package design. Yep. We were multidisciplinary designers. This is what it was 20, 25 years ago. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
And proud of it. Fucking cool, right?
Awesome.
And again, I felt like it was just so creative.
Yeah.
Just creativity was just oozing out of every graphic designer's body back then, right?
Totally.
Digital came.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, everybody started specializing, okay? And it was ridiculous. Design expanded in some ways, and now all of a sudden, no, graphic designer doesn't do UX.
Yeah.
UX designers do UX.
Yes.
UI designers do UI.
Yeah.
There was a digital visual designer. There's a product designer, a brand designer, a digital researcher, production design. Like it got so fucking fragmented that honestly, there was like no cross-pollination, which I think actually hurt the design industry, not helped.
Yeah.
Okay, for the sake. I think graphic design or designers on a whole were limited.
Yeah.
Because again, the reality is, if everybody has to stay in their lanes, right? If you're running with blinders, you can't benefit from seeing what anybody else is doing.
Exactly.
That's the end.
Yeah.
And for the record, if you are that fragmented, you are at risk of being commoditized.
That's right.
And replaced.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, UX designers for websites, Grid AI tried to already replace that experience. They tried to replace that and website designers, right? It's possible. And then, arguing they also tried to replace the UI designer. Because, now again, early, but it just shows that the potential was there and they were already trying.
Yeah.
Okay. You get too niche, people will try to replace you. Tech will replace you sooner or later because they're going to see what you do as a commodity product.
That's right.
Okay. Or a commodity service. Everybody's heard this whole, what is it? Jack of all trades, but master of none.
Yes.
And everybody's like, oh, but you heard that saying. Okay, you're an idiot, right? Because that's not the actual full saying.
This blew my mind, man. I had no idea. So, but yes, continue.
It totally
please.
was, right? So the actual limerick or whatever the saying, the term is, Jack of all trades is a master at none, but oftentimes better than a master of one. Okay. And what it's saying is, you don't have to necessarily be a specialist to be able to do a fucking great job. Because if you know enough about everything, you could do a lot more damage and get shit done quicker, right?
Right, exactly.
Look at some of the greats in history, right? The Leonardo da Vinci's, the Michelangelos, right? Even early this century, like what Ford did, to the lines, right?
Yeah.
Or Massimo Vignelli's wife, she was an architect, she was a graphic designer, she was a fashion designer, right?
Yeah.
Designers were multidisciplinary.
Yeah.
Okay, they touched a little bit of everything because it was the life they led. It was the way they felt. Everything they saw through a designer's eye.
Yes.
If you are running with blinders, okay, all you're going to see is the world that you know.
Whatever it is, those shitty logos that you're just doing.
Right? Whatever's in front of you.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's it. And again, granted, if you are only a logo designer and that's all you're cranking out and you love and you're passionate, good for you. I love you for it.
Yep.
Because it's actually great. But all of a sudden something else comes up. It might be a challenge to all of a sudden kind of think of a different kind of problem to solve.
This is exactly
or to think of a different kind of layout to pursue or experiential design. It's very possible. And you can probably get to that space, but it might not come as natural.
Right.
Right? Because you have to get there. If a graphic designer understands the basics, like the basic design principles, right? They understand, they're doing print every day. They understand line weight. They understand, like flow, layout, white space, and all this. Who's to say that they can't take that and transfer that over to UX and to UI, right? Like the principles, the learning, that whole same environmental design. Like who's to say that you can't take what you've learned in one skill and apply it everywhere else? Because God knows, I've never had to hire a UX designer.
No.
Never had to hire a UI designer.
UI designer either. Yeah.
We've done some pretty big fucking websites.
Yeah.
We have made a shitload of money being able to offer all these services to customers.
Yeah.
The reality is there's so many businesses, there's so few businesses out there that could just hire a specialist, okay? Could just hire a UX designer and nothing more, okay? And that's the concern, right? Because that puts them on the chopping block for potentially being commoditized.
This is true.
I'm not saying it's bullshit, but I'm saying that I think that it should go back to that bigger picture of being a multidisciplinary designer, okay? Which, in my opinion, is just a designer. Right? That's what we used to call ourselves. I don't know why it had to get so complicated. Massimo Vignelli said, if you can design one thing, then you can design everything. Okay. And again, he basically said, once you get an understanding of the problem that you're trying to solve, okay, you then get it to the customer, you get feedback, there's revisions,
questions,
there's a process in place, okay, and you end up solving that problem.
That's right.
Well, if you can do it for graphic design, then you can do it for UX design, you can do it for UI, because again, the premise is still the same.
Still the same,
Right? And I think that's key. When we're talking about, and more than anything, that shit can't be replaced by AI.
No.
Okay?
Absolutely
because
not.
again, you don't know, AI will never know all the questions to ask automatically.
This is true.
Could ask the fundamentals.
Yeah.
What are your business problems? How much money did you lose? How much, what I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. These are high level, these are basic things, right?
These would be like the thin questions we keep talking about.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
The future graphic designer, in all, they do need to be a multidisciplinary designer.
Yeah.
They need to be able to cater to a whole wide breadth of customer services experiences, right?
Yep.
To be able to give, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to learn how to do everything yourself. And I think that's key, because that's going to be impossible to keep up at the rate that we're going first and foremost.
Right.
Okay. Sometimes I hear, a graphic designer's future is to learn some code. Because you have customers who do websites, and technology is evolving fast, and why would you hire that out? You should just become a coder as well.
Yes.
It's not hard. And just learn some basic stuff like PHP and Python and HTML. I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like this is where it's like that kind of stuff makes me angry.
Yes.
Right? Because you are really undermining, all that other shit.
Yes.
Okay. But that doesn't mean that you don't understand how that whole world works.
Right.
Okay. You want to know a little bit more about programming and how that works? We have a podcast episode a little ways back all about what you should actually learn as a graphic designer for code. And the reality is none.
Exactly.
Really. Like, I mean, again, you don't need to, but you need to understand what the differences are, what the pieces do, and how they work in a website. That's it. You don't have to learn how to code the damn website.
Yes.
Especially because there's probably going to be software that's going to do it for you in the future, right?
That's exactly it. Well, geez, if that was that grid or whatever, good Lord, that's basic rudimentary stuff. Then, if that's the case, like that should be easy to throw that on the pod.
The idea here is that you just need to have an understanding of the bigger picture. Okay, like you need to understand that code, it's its own skill set, right? SEO, it's its own skill set, right? SEM, search engine marketing, that's its own thing, right? Even social, right? That's its own specialty. Respect those, but it doesn't mean, as a multidisciplinary designer, right? In my opinion, being the bigger picture thinker, that you don't understand how those all work together.
Yeah.
And that's key. And that's the biggest value that we've brought to our customers, in my opinion.
Yep.
Okay. And I think that's what's helped us get through this crazy time that we've just gone through, right? Technology, the boost, right? And it's what's going to take us into the future, is being able to understand like how all these parts work together.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's the key. I think that's the whole key to being, a future multidisciplinary designer. And I hate that term. I just want to say future designer, future graphic designer, a future graphic designer.
Yep.
Right. Graphic designer.
Yep.
Because again, it's like customers have no idea how to come up with this shit. They're too busy working on their business.
That's right.
Okay. So it's our job to be able to come in there and give them all the answers.
Yes.
Okay. And that's key. It doesn't mean like if you're just called in to, do a logo project, that's fine. But that doesn't mean you're not poking about all the other parts.
Well, this is exactly it. And we've talked about this before, right? It's like, yeah, sure. Hey, I'll do your logo here, but what's your brand situation moving forward, right? You're always looking for that next step.
Absolutely, right? You're looking for what is the real problem.
Yes.
Why do you need another logo? Like, what's going on? Is it time? Is it an anniversary? Is it, you're evolving to a new company? But again, it's a matter of being able to ask the right questions because you have an idea of the bigger picture, right? So that's actually one of the first things to get down, to start preparing. For the future, right, and future-proofing your career as a graphic designer, all right? You got to first start thinking with the bigger picture for your customers, okay? Like you have to stop thinking about just the job itself. Like you just said, you have to stop thinking about just the logo. You got to start thinking bigger. But I'm not even at the brand stage yet. I'm thinking you have to start. You have a customer. You have to start understanding how that company works, okay? Not the details, not who answers the fucking phone and who's closing the lights at night, but you got to understand, in general, what that company does, what the sales funnels are kind of like, right? What their mission is, okay? You need to have this understanding of the bigger picture of what exactly it is they do, because that's how you actually can put more value into the service that you're delivering, right? The more you understand about how much their business runs and how it operates, the more value you can find to inject yourself in that company, right? It's like that whole land and expand model, right? And that's what we did with some of our customers. We land doing one thing. We start learning about their business, and we're like, hey, shit, we can help you over here. Hey, shit, we can help you over here. All of a sudden, we are like, we're like a virus, and we're in every corner,
spreading all over.
And that's the goal, right? Is to be that virus and be everywhere in there, right?
Good virus.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, the reality is, when you're in there, you got to stop thinking like a logo designer and start thinking like a business problem solver, right? And that's your mission, and that's the first step to kind of future-proofing yourself as a graphic designer,
Yes.
right? Because you need to start thinking of the bigger picture, and you need to start understanding how their business operates and how else you can help their business improve. Do you know some business? I remember one customer was going on about, shit, man, and this was like 3 years ago, 4 years ago. So, they were complaining that their website just wasn't turning enough leads for them. I'm like, dude, like your website's getting you like 10 leads a day.
Wow.
How much fun, and
Yeah,
you're
what
only
are
a
they
small
expecting?
shop of like 30 people.
Oh my God.
Well, what do you need?
Yeah.
Well, going through our process, of those 10 leads every day, we only have a 15% of closing. It's like, dude, well, that's the fucking problem. Let's revisit that process. So then we started revisiting what happens after the sale. Okay. And where people are getting lost at and where they're getting jumped. Then we started seeing the material they were sending them thereafter, all internal shit that made no sense, right? They were throwing contracts up front even before the customer even fully knew. Like it was such a mess that just by rejigging their internal, system from, beginning to, close, I think we increased them another 30%. So they were almost at like 1 for 2. So it like literally doubled their business.
That's awesome.
Within 2 years, they were just like, and it had nothing to do with
their process
the logo, the website, or the problem they came. It was the internal problems. But we wouldn't have known that if we didn't know the kind of questions to ask.
That's right.
And that is just a matter, it sounds like a lot of work, but it's really not.
No, it's
curiosity.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what a graphic designer needs to be.
Totally.
Right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
And that's something that AI, I don't think will be able to figure that out.
Hell no.
You know what I mean?
But again, it's not that the design is disappearing in the business. Or sorry, it's not that the graphic design or the artistic part of what we're doing is changing in the future.
Yeah.
It's what the deliverables and how to get there are changing, right? Need to change.
Right.
So again, you're in there, ask the right questions, see what those business problems are, where they're making money, where they're losing money, where you can help them improve.
Yeah.
You know what, our foot traffic is only this. Okay, figure out some better signage or some better messaging or things to increase that foot traffic in the door if that's the case, right? We can't convert. Okay, work on the conversion, work on the messaging, the visuals to help on the conversion. But I mean, this is cool. You got to start thinking bigger picture with all your clients, first and foremost, right?
Yeah.
You can't be scared to ask questions. Okay, and I think that this is huge for all graphic designers.
Yeah.
They're scared. They're scared that they don't want to bother the customer with questions because it'll make me look like I don't know what I'm doing or it'll make me look like I'm unsure of what I'm doing. But it's completely the fucking opposite. Okay. The more questions you ask, it just shows how much you do know what you're doing.
Right.
Okay. You're asking the right questions. You're asking about the problems, what their competitors are doing, why they want this logo, what else is lacking in this. You're doing two things here. You're trying to find out what the real problem is. But you're also looking for opportunities for yourself as well in the future, right? Absolutely.
Nice.
And the reality is people actually like questions.
They do.
You're not burdening them by asking them questions. They
love that
see
stuff.
They see that engagement as interest or
it's like, so hey, somebody, this is what we do. We're passionate about it. It's good to see somebody sitting across the table from me who's pretty jacked about this too.
Exactly.
This is good. This is exactly. And this is what we're all about.
I would have like a 2-hour discovery meeting with a customer. I'd go to their place, right? And this is back when we were doing pure B2B, right? Like a manufacturing B2B.
Yeah.
And I was like a kid in a fucking candy store. I was like, wow, this place is amazing. What
does this do?
How are you doing this? And they're like, well, we're an injection molding company and really boring shit. And I'm like, wow. And you're making this?
Yeah.
What about the mold? How do you do that? And they're just like, holy.
They're like,
so I'm bombarded. And then they're like, do you want a tour? I'm like, fuck
Yes, I do.
We go through a tour. By the end of the tour, they're just like, holy shit, like you're so engaged. You're asking all these questions.
Yeah.
And then in the time, I was like, holy shit, I have no idea how to tell you about myself. We only got like 5 minutes left, but that was great. But the reality is, I got every one of those jobs because I asked enough not stupid questions.
Not dumb questions.
So what are your
No,
hours not for shit like that. But we would be talking supply chain. And again, because I took the effort to find out about the business.
Yes.
And they never, ever looked at it as a bad thing.
Yes.
About questions.
And it's just a general fascination about some of these kind of things, right? These are your clients. Like
you need to know.
You need to know these are regular people. Like you said, they love to engage, right? If you're interested. they'll talk your ear off.
The one thing that you can't forget is, again, if you are specialized in an industry or a sector, then you will already know the questions to ask. You'll know about the competitors. How does this differ from that competitor? They'll be like, oh, you know who our competitors are? And it's like, oh yeah, of course I did, right? I understand the space.
Research.
I said, they like that shit.
Oh yeah.
So you can't be scared to ask questions, because that's the only way how you're going to be able to solve or get down to the problem that it is you have to solve.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. Right. So you don't go in there and say, I'm just a logo designer. That's all. That's all I need.
So what did you want your logo to look like? And
you serif or non-serif? What do you prefer?
If your brand was an animal, what animal would it be? Dude, I saw that on Reddit the other day. Is that
for real?
And not only did I see that, but then I saw comments and like, wow, that's a great one. I got to use that. Oh God, guys, don't do that. Don't ever do that.
Oh my God, that is terrible. Yeah. How is that a basis of...
Again, thin questions, and they will be replaced.
Thin question.
You can't tell me that they won't be replaced by AI, because there's going to be an AI logo program around the corner. It's going to replace that shit.
Big time.
Yeah.
And probably better, because that's a stupid-ass question.
Stupid-ass question. They deserve to be replaced for that.
Totally.
So if you guys are asking about what animal they would be... Get ready. The future's coming, and it's pretty dark for you.
That's right.
So number 3, I would say, once you start understanding the bigger picture for the company, and then you start learning how to ask more questions, this, that, right? You got to take it upon yourself to just learn more about branding.
Yes.
Because in all fairness, okay, in the future, as all of our little segments start becoming commoditized, and intro paragraphs are going to be automated, logos going to be automated, infographics to a point could be automated if you type in the figures, right? Yeah. So, but branding is all encompassing, okay? And the thing is, branding touches everything visual. It touches, what the customer sees, what the customer experiences, right? What they're seeing online, the messaging that they're getting, right? And again, what you're doing is you're starting to understand not only the bigger business picture, but the bigger brand picture and what differentiates them from their customers. Yeah. Okay. So if you aren't already a branding expert as a graphic designer, shame on you. Yeah. Because again, while you may not have to sell a brand strategy, which is the best way to make a shitload of money, in all fairness, and being a brand guardian, you need to, because the future's coming and you need to have a good grasp on the overall brand, right? And be able to help them develop a brand strategy, help them, pinpoint. And then again, you could very well be using ChatGTP for parts of the brand. You could be using DALL-E for visual
as a tool,
and whatever, but if you control the brand, right, the graphic designer of the future will have control over all the elements people see. Right. Okay. And, if you're in charge of brand, you've got control over all of that. Yes. Right. So, and not that you would ever be in charge of brand, but I mean, look at the customers that we deal with. Yeah. We're in charge of their brands.
We are the brand police.
Right.
That's
we're
how
the brand
position
police.
Ourselves.
And I mean, I'm talking the customers that we deal with are between, 5 million to 500 million. Yeah. And we are either in charge of their brand or we act as their brand police. Yep. We remind them, we check them, and they appreciate that shit. Right. 100%. Yeah. And honestly, and most importantly, for the graphic designer of the future, have to keep up with the technologies. Right. Have to. Yes. Absolutely have to. So again, I can't tell you, and I'm not worried about AI replacing a graphic designer if that graphic designer evolves with the technology. Right, right. Okay. Yeah. So ChatGTP made me realize that not only is it an incredible tool, for research and information, gathering, but, again, how fast that happens, it's great for anything from intro sentences, giving ideas, ideation. Same with DALL-E, same with Midjourney, right? God knows what the future is going to be with these AIs, right? I've seen some of our followers. I can't stress enough how incredible the shit is that I'm following. Yeah. It's just eerie.
The artwork. Yeah. That's just amazing.
It's even beyond that now, because now it's photorealism. It's there's almost, it will, potentially put stock photography out of business, because you can create your perfect photo, own that, all the rights to it now. You're not going to have Getty coming after you saying, oh, $10,000, please. Oh, wait, you also want to put it on your website? Make it 20. Fuck, do I hate that company. But you know what? The AI is moving at such a fast pace. But again, if the graphic designer of the future is in charge of all things visual, augmented reality is visual. Okay. There's going to come a point where you're going to take your phone over, put it on top of something, and you'll be, you'll get a treat. You'll get you'll see an ad, a discount. You'll see fixed. All of a sudden, it's like you're kind of almost entering that whole, UI creation there, because you're creating something, this augmented reality that overlays on top of the actual visual on your phone.
Wow.
Dude, and it's happening. It's already there.
Okay.
And there's ways to integrate that already into campaigns.
Oh, shit.
Okay. So again, if the designer of the future is in charge of everything visual, then perfect opportunity to actually take a look at that, right? And kind of dig in on there. Virtual reality.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All things visual.
VR. Yep.
You can sell VR to customers for certain reasons when that time comes. You're in charge of all things visual, what they're seeing, what they're experiencing within that, right?
Right.
Granted, you may not have to worry about coding that damn VR world, but you definitely, if you can help them understand the opportunities in there for your business and how to plug new products here and how to help for that huge opportunity there, right?
Yeah, that's
fucking kiosks. Dude, kiosks are
old
all
school.
over the place.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're everywhere now, right?
Yeah.
And because the technology to build them and put them has made them at such a price point that shit, they're people are using them. My pizza store has kiosks in behind their screen, okay? I read that out their menu and it rotates on a regular basis. The bank's got kiosks and digital displays. And again, it's just a no-brainer to take advantage of this.
Yeah.
Again, the graphic designer of the future, in my opinion, will be in charge of all things visually that people see.
Yeah.
All things visual, right? And all experiences visual, and they will solve those problems visually. That's my opinion on how this is going to work, right? We're going to own that whole space.
Yeah.
So be prepared for it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I'm saying. Understand technology is coming.
Yeah.
And it's coming for parts of your job. And sometimes it's good.
Yep.
Right? Because maybe some of the high volume production shit, who wants to do that anyway? Sometimes it sucks because if it comes to a point in time where it starts creating logos quicker, faster, better, dude, I sadly can see it doesn't mean that nobody will ever want a human-made logo.
This is true. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Some people will want that authenticity.
Yeah.
But again, that small percentage versus what we're seeing right now, that's the sad part.
Right.
I'm seeing people crying right now saying, oh, it's taking, replacing artists and this and that. I'm like, dudes, you guys got to stop arguing this.
Embrace it.
Embrace it because it's here.
Yeah, it's exactly
not going anywhere.
And exactly like you said, you've seen people, and I've seen people that they're creating amazing things, and it's like I've worked in this just a bit, and it's hard to come up with something that looks legit and is a cohesive idea, right?
Exactly.
So there's some brain power that goes into this kind of stuff.
It's that whole curating of ideas, words, phrases, visions, right, and putting that bigger picture together.
Yes,
Yeah.
which is in of itself a creative act, because you are the creative mind behind this, right?
Absolutely.
It's just you're not drawing it anymore.
It's so true,
yeah,
right?
You're typing it into a website.
You're visualizing it. But if you have all the other components in place, you understand the business, you understand branding, you understand how to take that curated messaging, put it in with their branding, and then present it back to the company.
Yeah.
Dude, basically that's going to be our role in the future. Okay.
Yeah.
But the thing that we have to remember, okay, is those little parts that we might love and enjoy on a regular basis are probably going to be commoditized and replaced in the future.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a good chance the logos might be? Sure. Is there a chance that layouts might be? Sure. Okay. But there's still going to be the people who have to think of the bigger vision behind every one of these. Okay.
Yes.
These might be tools. You might be put in charge of coming up with these visuals.
Yeah.
And then you might go to ChatGTP and get all the copy for your visual. You might then go to, wherever, DALL-E, and come up with the actual visuals for this desktop piece, right?
Yep.
Like you're going to be pulling in from all these references, but I can't ever see that part being replaced by AI because that's not what AI can do yet.
Yeah.
Maybe in 50 years, it can start thinking for itself, but right now it can't do that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's interesting, man.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So in my opinion, the graphic designer of the future will be in charge of all things visual. Okay. And on a big level.
Yeah.
Okay. A graphic designer of the future will solve visual problems of all sorts. Anything that we see, experience with our eyes, that we visualize, even experiences that we, with that touch and feel, will be in the realm of the graphic designer of the future.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Fucking giddy up.
I am going to my computer right now to look up augmented reality.
Well, you know,
the fuck?
the funny thing is, I don't think what we're doing has to change. Very different.
Okay.
Okay.
It's just a different medium?
Well, no. What I mean by this is, you know, the medium is going to get replaced. That end medium,
Right.
Right. As in, it's the problem solving part that we're in charge of.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we should be doing that anyway. Okay. We should be solving problems as designers on a regular basis. Every job that we get, we should already be thinking like that. Otherwise, you can't call yourself a designer.
Right.
First and foremost, absolutely. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. You're an artist. You're not a designer.
Yeah.
First and foremost.
Yeah.
So to change, you know, our future, to change our path into this, you know, this vision of the future, it's not that much.
No.
Right? Keep your eyes open. You know, keep curiosity at a high.
There we go.
Okay. Start understanding that your job is more than just logos and layouts, you know, web designs.
Yeah.
You know, UX is part of your job, and it will be in the future because companies won't be able to hire you as a designer and then this person as a UX designer. I mean, only the top 1% of companies can actually do that.
Yes, exactly.
Okay?
Yeah.
So embrace all these other things.
Yeah.
Okay. Embrace the idea that, you know, you will be touching a whole bunch of different mediums. Okay. Because you're owning digitally, right? So you don't have to change much of what you're doing. You just have to start asking more questions, digging deeper, thinking bigger.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you're not already doing that, then, you know, honestly, your future might be limited already, even as a designer of today.
Yeah, this is true.
You know, when Martha Schur goes in for a logo, I don't know why I say that. I'm sure it's Martha Schur.
Sure.
But I'm sure when she goes in for a project, she's not thinking just the logo.
Yeah.
Right. I'm sure she's not thinking. Michael Beirut goes in there for, you know, a brand or sorry, somebody comes in and says, hey, we need a new logo. They're not hiring him for a logo. They're hiring him for an entire visual identity system.
Right.
That dude is going in there. Granted, he's going in with a full team of people behind him to help execute, but he's going in thinking logo, you know, plus, you know, shopping bags, plus the store, plus their website, plus all these other elements that are being pulled together. And honestly, AI can't do that.
No.
It might be able to do one part of that. It might be able to do one part plus execute it on here, but it isn't able to think that giant bigger picture.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to do. We have to take that bigger picture and embrace that.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. And I think, do you think experience helps with that too?
Yes. Well, I mean, again, because only in the sense of, you know, how far you can push it.
Right. Yes.
Right? Because really you start getting more comfortable with being able to ask for more. Right? You're going in and being like, hey, you know what? I get you're asking me for a logo, but you maybe need a logo and a tagline.
Yeah.
You might need a logo, tagline, and then put it also in your email footer because people see your email footer. Start small.
Yeah.
Right? You also need it at the beginning of your presentation.
What about
How
your
are you presenting?
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, what else? What about packaging? How are you delivering your product to your customers? Right?
Yeah.
Is it just in an email format? Oh, do you need e-newsletters to go on top? Like, again, this is where the experience comes in.
Yeah.
Because if you have an understanding of their business, their sales funnel, right? You ask enough questions, dude, you could build that whole fucking plan and have a year's worth of work.
Yeah.
But people don't. They get too scared to ask for these questions.
That's right. Land and expand. That's
Dude,
what you,
land
that's
and
what you
expand
want.
model.
Yeah,
I mean, again, that's
really
just,
good.
That's just brilliant.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. Woo.
So I hope that kind of gives some insight into what I'm kind of envisioning as the designer of the future.
Yeah,
I don't think it's much different than what we are right now.
No, I don't think so. But you're right. There's other things to be mindful of, and as long as you're doing your job, asking questions, and solving problems.
Yeah, right.
You should be fine.
Yeah,
right?
you should be, right? I'm hoping, right?
Yes.
Yeah. If the graphic designer of the future is in charge of all things visual, right? Own that. Don't just stop at the logo.
That's right.
Okay. But without asking the right questions, and the right questions because you understand their business, you're not going to know how big you can take this visual problem, right? And that's the whole thing. You want to own all that visual.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Own it.
Own it.
All right. Well, I hope that's a decent one for the future. That's the Nostradamus.
Nostradamus, yeah.
The Nostradamus episode.
Or I'm thinking more Johnny Carson. You know, he used to put the Great Knish or whatever his name was. Like, but it's a pretty interesting, pretty heavy topic
I think it's a pretty heavy topic
for 2023.
But first one to start.
But this is true. These are things that we got to look out for because fucking AI isn't going anywhere.
Nope,
and it's
it
nipping
is
at our
not.
heels now, right?
Yeah, exactly,
Like,
right.
holy smokes.
But that's all right. Not all has to be heavy topics. Next week, our topic is follow the curlicues on the design serif fonts that you're going to see. Let's zoom in and focus on the serifs.
The serifs.
The serifs. Not the serif fonts, the serifs. How curly can we make them? A nice light episode. How to incorporate sound with your fonts. Do you know, I remember my old Mac. It used to make sounds for everything. Everything you'd click. Did they still do that?
Yeah. I don't know whether they do, but it used to be.
Click this and it would click, 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 click. And I remember I had a customer who one day was there in my office. Listen, and he's like, wow, your computer's like a video game. And it made it so entertaining. I wish they brought that back.
Why don't they do that anymore?
So fun.
It should be like a retro switch on that.
Yeah, I agree, right?
Where you could go back to that if you
opening a
wanted.
folder does this, clicking does that.
Although Google, the Google has all kinds of funny noises for your chats and things like that, right?
Speaking about Google, Google's AI, they've changed their chat. FYI, I don't know if you realize this, but now you can do Google searches on your phone. You can take a picture of something and search by picture, and Google will find you places on the internet to buy things like your picture. So it's like I would go on my watch and be like, show me this watch. It would show me this watch, 5 places I could buy it, plus 20 places with knockoffs, plus 5 more of this. Dude, again, Google's working on some heavy AI shit.
Oh, God.
Like everybody is working. Oh, dude.
Yeah. This is the future.
It's coming.
Yeah. It's here.
Yeah. Well, with that being said,
Yes.
I hope you guys like what you heard today. You know, you can agree, you can disagree. I'd love to hear what you have to say about it. So please reach out to our website if you want to. Hit us up on our forum. Hit us up on YouTube where you're going to see most of this. Also hit us up on Instagram, which is I think that's where we're most active right now. Again, I will get back to all of your comments 1 week, sometimes 2 weeks if there's too many of them, but we will hit you up. And I mean, by all means, please share us with everybody you like and hate this year. We had our highest episode for downloads last week, which was fantastic.
Yes.
And it just means that people appreciate this shit and we're growing with this. And
we love you guys.
honestly, it's just, it feels so great. This is better than anything else that we could have been doing, because it's one thing to help customers, and I do love helping customers.
Yep.
But it's even better helping our peeps.
Helping, knowing that you're passing on some information, that the roadblocks or the bumps in the road along the way, that's
right,
dude. You should be aware of this kind of stuff, because we would have loved to have that coming up, right?
Oh man, we weren't as lucky to have that kind of stuff.
We were not. No, we had.
But we're here to help you guys survive and thrive.
Right. That's right.
Remember that. So yeah, I do appreciate it.
Yeah, you guys rock.
All right, you do. And with that being said, I'm Massimo.
And I'm Sean.
Stay creative
and stay angry.